Hello, everybody, and welcome to RCI TV here on YouTube and the first round of the Night Owl Season 2 here at Laguna Seca. I'm Jesse Lee, Nick Setnick behind the cameras, and I am joined by my old Night Owl buddy, Josh LaShawn. Josh, fantastic to have you back in this championship for the duration, and we're happy to be back. Took a little bit of time off, and we've had a few rule changes here for Night Owl Season 2. We're going to mix it up, and there's just so much to talk about. But as for right now, Josh, pleasure to have you back.
Thank you very much, Jesse. Good evening, everyone. Good night, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is the Night Owl Championship. And yeah, Jesse, you're too kind. You're too kind. But yeah, I can't wait for this. Obviously, we'll run over the rules real quick in a second. But yeah, we've got quite a stacked grid here today as well. Almost 30 cars, I believe. But yeah, we can see it's pretty close as well, just in practice as well, just a second separating the top 18. So. But the pace over one lap isn't going to be so important this year, Jesse.
Yeah, this whole season has been turned on its head. The sort of Frankenstein of this group, Mike Jones, has come up with a little bit different rules package. And the first thing that's going to be ultimately obvious to everybody that's familiar with RCI racing is, well, why aren't they in qualifying? Well, the simple answer for that is for this very first race, and for all of the races, I should say, there's not going to be any qualifying. Josh, care to explain?
Yeah, so this time around Season 2 and Night Owl, we aren't going to be doing qualifying. Today will be a randomized grid to start off Night Owl Season 2, and from there onwards, so in all the following rounds, we will be doing reverse championship stand-ins. So obviously the guy that wins the race here today will be starting at the back next week. So that should promote some great racing, because obviously in theory the super quick guys should be towards the back of the field fighting their way through, and obviously we'll also get to to be talking about drivers we don't usually see at the front of the field as well, beginning at the start, and let's see if you can defend. You got a good chance of getting a decent top 10 where you probably wouldn't have seen yourself if this was the usual way we do things here at RCI. But I, for one, can't wait, because I watch a lot of Formula 2, and they reverse the top 8 for race 2. So that's always very exciting, because obviously you got the faster guys coming through. I just can't wait.
Well, another thing, too, a very important thing to note is, you know how popular those YouTube videos are now, the last to first challenge? I actually have
Yeah.
one up on my YouTube channel where I actually did complete the last to first challenge. And they're going to be doing that, but in a championship setting. That is incredible. And I thought initially it was going to be the top 10 or so that got reversed. And I was corrected that it's the whole field that's getting reversed. That is absolutely incredible that is going to happen. And I don't know what to expect out of that, but today it's even more chaos than that, because, like you said, it's a random grid. Wherever you practice here it's nice to know what your pace is, but it's sort of irrelevant. So what I'm saying is Cody Blanton currently fastest with a 1 minute 22.245. That's good enough for the fastest in the session, but they could start first, they could start 8th, 16th, 30th. They could start anywhere in this field. It is going to be randomized. Absolute mass craziness going on here. I like it personally. You're gonna, like you said, you're gonna see a lot of people coming through the field, and tonight is not going to be any different. We're just taking a look at some of the cars. Again, some of the things that are the same as last season. Most of the drivers in the pro field here tonight have a teammate. You'll notice they are teammates because they'll have similarly colored cars. Some of these drivers, I should say, don't have teammates, though. They're lone wolfing it, if you will. We'll get more into that as the evening goes on. As for right now, all these drivers have to be taking their final laps, making their mental preparations. And I think by now it's time to talk about the track, Josh. This is Laguna Seca, one of the quickest laps in ACC, but also one of the most punishing racetracks as well.
Yeah, it is. It's a short track, but it's relentless. There's no respite on this circuit at all. There's no like long straight to have a chill out on. Even the pit straight, start finish straight, has even got a bit of a curve in it as well. It's still flat out, but you can't look away from the screen or anything for too long, otherwise you may have missed the optimal line. But yeah, it's a great circuit. Obviously, corkscrew, pretty world famous, I'm sure. If you've watched any kind of motor racing, I'm sure you know about the corkscrew. And obviously, turn one is probably going to be our most used overtaking spot, hopefully in the race. This race being randomized. Let's use Cody Blanton as an example. He's the quickest guy at the moment. If he starts last, he's gonna have his work cut out because it's not easy to get past here. But if there is a massive pace difference, which across 29 cars, I think there will be a pace difference, as we can see. The field spread out by 1.3 seconds, first to 23rd, and that's quite competitive. So it's gonna be. I just can't wait to see this race in particular, because it's completely random. Obviously, we'll have a bit more structure to it as rounds go on, and the quicker guys eventually will filter themselves down to the back of the grid. But then, it all comes down to where you start today. If one of the not so quick guys, maybe they haven't had a win here in RCI, they could get on pole today, random grid, and just put a massive defensive job up, and they could be starting from the back of the grid next week. Obviously, we've only got the one mandatory pit stop, and I don't think you need to take tyres. It's just fuel in this race as well. So obviously, it's kind of an open strategy in a way. There's no pit window. You just come in when you want. So let's see if people use that to sort of gain a bit of clear air and see who follows suit. Undercuts, overcuts is definitely going to be important here at Laguna Seca, because it is a tight track, and Carl Sundstrom's going to have to fight that wide boy around this track for sure. The M6 in matte black with a little pink accents is looking very nice, and he's also got his fog lights on as well. He's maybe expecting some more clouds. Who knows?
Well, one interesting thing about this, we had sort of a false start in the Night Owl Championship. We're calling this season 2, but we all know, Josh, it's actually season 2.5. But
Yes.
this mimics the very first attempt at the Night Owl Championship that we all had. And what I mean by mirroring, I'm talking about the weather conditions. One other treat that Mike Jones has left for us is the weather is identical to that. It's incredibly hot, 29 degrees C, a light breeze, and it is incredibly cloudy here. And that's sort of what we expect to experience today. And I said this privately before the event went live. I don't think I've ever seen a fully cloudy race around Laguna Seca like this. It's very strange in California.
Yeah, it is weird. It is weird. You normally got the sun beaming off the bouncing off the windscreens of the cars, but yeah, it looks like it's going to threaten some rain, but that doesn't happen around here. But it doesn't look too nice. Not the definitely not not the brightest day, even though it's still 25 degrees, so still shorts and t-shirt weather. But that's kind of how it is in California, I guess. I don't live there. I live very, very far away from there, so I can't speak. It's woolly jumpers and wellies in Wales at all times. So I don't think I'd quite fit in California. But
Yeah,
this guy on the screen here, though, Jesse, is one I know we usually talk quite a lot about in the Night Owl series. He's down in P17 at the moment, but he may be doing full race runs or something. But Ishmael Lebrecq, we know he likes to send one at the inside when he gets the chance.
yeah, he sure does. This is going to be incredibly interesting too. We also have not fan favorite. He's one of my favorites, Fabian Schmedberger in the field. He's driving the number 68 Nissan here this season. Whenever he announced to us that he was going to be running the Night Owl Champ, which by the way, the Night Owl Championship was devised to allow people from the more western part of the world, the Americas, if you will, have a earlier start time in the day where they could race, or excuse me, a later start time in the day as opposed to an earlier one. And what we've seen here is not only have they responded, but a lot of the Europeans, the Australasians, and the Asian communities as well has said, we stay up late anyway. Let's go ahead and get in the race. And the more the merrier. We've got 30 cars here. We have, I don't know how many different nationalities represented, different manufacturers. I haven't counted them all, but it's absolutely fantastic. I love the late night crew in the eastern part of the world and the early afternoon and evening crowd in the Americas. And for the very first time, too, and this is just a personal note that I have noticed, it will actually be night owl for me, meaning that the sun will have gone down during this race. And that's not entirely what night owl means, but that's sort of what I associate it with.
Yeah, exactly. It's meant to be, I guess it's kind of night owl for the kind of like the Europeans, I suppose, because it's if you want to race in this championship, it's going to be late where you are,
Yeah.
like 11 p.m. start time in the UK. Like I'm not too tired to race, but I'd much rather be sitting here casting this race because well, I wouldn't even be in this split, so yeah, you wouldn't even be talking about me. I'd be probably in the AM split somewhere, probably fighting with our own Mike Jones.
I, I just want to say one thing because we're about 2 minutes away from being under starters orders. I just got to say, if you are in continental Europe, Asia, or like Australasia, and you're in this race tonight, you're hardcore because it's going on 11 p.m., midnight, or later, depending on how far east you are. And like you said, they're still out here wanting to run this race. They're going to be out here for 1 hour and some change getting it done tonight. It's absolutely amazing to see. Is there anything, Josh? I just got to ask you before we go. Is there anything that you're looking for here tonight? Because for me, it's mistakes. How many mistakes have we seen in practice already? People pushing it, and they're not even really racing anybody. So what are you looking out for tonight?
Yeah, that's a good point. We have seen a lot of mistakes. What I'm looking for is seeing how some of the guys that the less common names here at RCI. I want to see how they stack up against some of the some of the more regulars here at RCI. And obviously with this mixed grid, it could mean anything. The start of this race is going to be crazy. Well, I'm guessing obviously it's completely random. So for example, we could have Cody Blanton at the top of the field starting P1, and we could have Sundstrom starting right at the back. And that's a very, very, very quick guy we know is very quick starting on pole, and also another very, very quick guy starting last. So you've already put the whole field between you and like a near rival. So it is all down to luck really where you finish today. But let's see how quick the quick guys can actually get through the field if they need to. Because we imagine it shouldn't affect the championship standings too much, but it's just gonna make it a bit more interesting for it's not gonna be a walk in the park. Like I remember when we did this, Cody Blanton pretty much won every race by like 35 seconds or something. I don't think he'll be doing that this time. Put it that way.
Well, one thing's for sure, it is going to be an interesting evening, and there you have it right there.
Can I just say, I use Cody Blanton and Sundstrom as an example in their P8 and P9 respectively.
Well, that's going to be interesting because, like we said, this very first race was completely random grid. Whenever they became uh, under starters orders here and they have 5 minutes, it was going to be a random order. And we've never seen that in RCI history, as far as I'm aware.
No, I don't think
So
I've ever seen it.
so this is what's happened here. The 265 of Catazzini has taken pole over Alistair Gillies, Lebrecht third, Fabian Schmedberger fourth, who was right around 15th place. Vane, who's fifth, who was the fastest in practice in that 759, is in fifth. Silva sixth, Urquizy seventh. Blanton, who we were talking about earlier, who was second on the grid, is going to end up eighth. Sundstrom ninth. Tunser 10th, and then behind them, Octane, Mollet, Jose Jorge's, Rogers, Brunier, Mathis, Yilmaz, Conway, Belazane, Masoud, Ertan, Kea, and Kumpo is the top 23 that I can see. Oh, there we go. We got Coombs, Aravina, Kara, Bugden, Delau, Narajek, and Robles. That is all 30 drivers that are participating in the race today. We did have some sign outs here in Pro, and we will also ask all of you to ignore the fact that they all have AM badges. We can assure you there's not a single AM driver in this field.
Yeah, exactly. And I've just seen a message in the chat from Conan. Wait, where's the quali? So for this, just for any of the late joiners, we are doing for this race a random grid to start this, and from the second round onwards will be a reverse championship stand-in. So basically, we're going to be getting a full reverse of this race, pretty much. I'm guessing. I take it everybody scores points, Jesse. I'm guessing you
Yes.
get point, yeah. So it's literally going to be a reverse of however this one finishes in around an hour and 5 minutes or so. That's what we'll be running with next week. So obviously this one was completely random, and the one that stands out for me is Blanton and Sundstrom together. I think that's going to be awesome. And obviously we got Lebrecht in P3 as well, and obviously Fabian Schmidberger as well in the GTR in P4. So just some of the names that we're used to seeing. And like you said, Vane, there in the 759 Mercedes, he was the quickest in practice by around 2/10, I think it was. So we know he's got some pace. But obviously that's the thing with practice. You don't actually know what the drivers were doing. Were they on quali runs? Were they on full fuel? Who knows? But it's all going to be pretty interesting. Obviously, Harry Conway down in P18 as well. We don't normally see him that low down. Seb Brunier in the 777 McLaren in P15 as well. Yeah, this is gonna be this is gonna be interesting. I don't really know what to expect, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect either. But here's the thing. We have an hour of racing here. There is a mandatory pit stop. As far as I know, we haven't changed anything about that. I think they have to take a liter of fuel is
Yeah,
their
that's right.
pit
Yeah.
stop. Yeah. So nothing's changed there, but they do have to come in. And you may ask, well, what's the point of having a pit stop if you only have to add a liter of fuel? Well, we see it all the time where people make mistakes coming into pit road, leaving pit road. Some people are faster coming in and out than others. Obviously, your pit delta should be the same unless you are speeding. Obviously, that'd be a bit of a problem. But that does change the complexion of a lot of these races, and especially at a tight track like Laguna Seca, where we had the top 15 under a second of one another. Your pit stop delta could be the difference between a bunch of positions. Keep in mind, we're talking about fractions of a second. You can lose many seconds on pit road if maybe you're just slow getting in, slow getting out of the box, slow taking that horrible, horrible pit out here that makes you take a hairpin turn through the grass there at one. It's one of the worst pit roads in my opinion, but it's very interesting. And you're going to see a lot of mistakes here today, and you're going to see a lot of people coming through the field by looking at some of these guys here, like Harry Conway down in 18th place, Bellasane 19th. They are ones to watch. So, Josh, without seeing anything but practice, with no qualifying to go on, and half the field in different cars than they otherwise were with new teams, who's your money on today?
So, I think you know who I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna go for the number 9 Audi, Cody Blanton. He run this place last time we were here. He pretty much wiped the floor with everybody else. Obviously, he did have pole that day, and he did lead from the front with no issues at all. But let's wait and see. Starting P8, you got a lot of cars around you. But just on the whole, why do we do a mandatory pit stop? It's not just that. It's also, the guys, it adds that element of strategy to it as well. Because it's not a pit window, so they can pit on the first lap. If they want to get out of the traffic and they just want to pit and get clear air, they can. And obviously, maybe some of the quicker guys that think, oh, I could get through this pack a lot quicker if they weren't there. Obviously, they could get rid of them and make up the time for when the others in front pit. So I just think it adds that little bit of option, of just mixing it up a bit. So, for example, let's use Brunier as an example. He's wedged behind Rogers and everybody else. He's like, I'm going to pit, get myself out of trouble. No one can hit me if I'm out on my own. and just gain the time that way. So you're not actually overtaking the cars, but you're just gaining it on delta time. So, there's a couple of things. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this. I think we may see some early stops, get that out the way, and then just focus for the next 50 minutes or so and just see where you come out after everyone's pitted, I suppose. But, it's the element of surprise. You don't know where you're going to be at the end of it. So, but yeah, Cody Blanton for me, Jesse. And my second pick probably would be Sundstrom, so let's just hope they don't take each other off, and I've cursed everyone, so let's wait and see.
I'm going to take Vane because he was the quickest in practice, and he's the only person I've seen to be able to beat Cody Blanton around here. But let's not underestimate the de facto pole sitter in this race of Katozi. I think he can possibly stay out front longer than we expect him to, because I don't know. I'm going to pay attention to see how long he stays up there with Gillies on the front row and Lebrecht as well. But I'm going to take the 759 Mercedes as my pick today, as everybody goes down through the corkscrew, getting ready to start this race.
I believe there was a Ferrari backwards on the corkscrew there as well.
Oh, was there?
I think so. I think someone,
well,
you see him on the map.
Well, luckily
there.
They can't hit each other.
Yeah, but he definitely hit the wall, but hopefully he can catch, he can catch up to the back of the pack, otherwise the game will give him a drive-through penalty, I believe.
I see.
But he was facing the wrong way. I didn't quite see who it was, but he's back amongst it all anyway, so he's in for the race. He may have a couple of seconds of damage, but plenty of time. Yeah, I think it was that one, Nick. That Ferrari just in front of the Audi we're on board with now. Is that Coombs, is it, I think?
I don't know, but they better not be inside each other, because if they round this corner, they're going to become solid objects, and that is not how you want to start your Night Owl Championship. Night Owl Season 2 here on RCI TV. Love to have you guys with us. The green flag drops here at Laguna Seca, and Katozi goes down into turn 1. Gillies and the rest of them in tow, and looks like Gillies is going to have the whole shot through turn 1 and get the lead away from Katozi immediately. And I believe that is Ishmael Lebrecht fighting Katozi for P2, as Alistair Gillies is down and gone. Already has more than a second gap as the fighting for second place continues, as they all fight to get single file through the first couple of turns.
Yeah, it's a great start for Gillies. He couldn't have really planned it better himself, but it looks like Katozi's actually got back in front of Lebrecht as well. That could have been so important for Ishmael Lebrecht if he could get in front there. We know he's quick. He was pretty fast around here last time as well, but it looks like Katozi's managed to get that back, so that's really important for him. And Alistair Gillies is like, come on, pal, hold those up. But he's not actually holding them up at the moment, but it looks like Vane now is going to go alongside with Ishmael Lebrecht into the corkscrew. He'd be very brave to try and squeeze a Mercedes and an Audi through there, but he definitely give it a try. But Vane here, he is looking to get past Lebrecht as quick as he can. But yeah, so far so good, I think. Only looks like we got one car trailing at the back, so looks like everybody got away cleanly.
I cannot believe Katozi actually fought off Lebrecht there. I thought Lebrecht had him dead to rights,
but
like there you go. Yeah, it looked like, I mean, I thought I was like, oh, well, he's got him then. And no, Katozi was able to get back around him and go through. But that all being said, it looks like Lebrecht is being fought by the 759 here of Vane. And don't forget about Urquizy. Urquizy's one of those guys that's been known to just rattle off wins, or rattle off good finishes, I should say. So interesting top 5 right now. Fabian Schmedberger started about where did Schmedberger start? About 8th
P4,
or something.
I believe.
He started P4. Okay, yeah. So he was as low as 8th, and now he's back up to 6th. Cody Blanton started 8th, lost a position on that opening lap. Meanwhile, back in the field, something happened to Jose Jorge's, I think, because that Ferrari is back into 19th place right now. Conway up to 15th. And those are just the obvious movers that I've seen so far. That's a crazy first lap or so. And keep in mind, there's also a team championship at play here. A lot of these teams, if you see two cars that look similar, like the two sort of dark blue, purple Ferraris in front there, those are on a team together. There is a team championship. There's going to be a move here. Harry Conway thinking about going around the outside, as we have already cars going down pit road. Conway thinking about it, not quite getting it done, as we have 4 Ferraris in a row here. go ahead and make
that
that 5 in a row
five.
due to the pitting car. And people already, we saw this last time, Josh, people immediately coming into pit road, since they're not going to take tires anyway, it doesn't matter. Getting that pit stop out of the way, getting clean air, not a bad strategy. And we've seen drivers win with that strategy.
Yeah, exactly. I was, if anything, I'm only surprised it's two drivers, to be honest with you. And definitely see, you can get stuck. Here, as we're watching Vane, he's not necessarily stuck, but it looks like he could go a bit quicker if Lebrec wasn't in his way. But we've got a fight for P2, potentially hotting up now as well. Katozi and Lebrec and Vane, and here we go, Fabian Schmidberg under pressure now from Silva. Is he going to look into the corkscrew? You have to be brave, but the Porsche almost runs into the back of him, and then he's thinking, I'm going to take the inside anyway. And Schmidberger defends that off nicely, but the Porsche is now going to have the inside line, and he is going to take that. The Porsche, very, very good around that part of the circuit, and now Schmidberger's under pressure from Cody Blanton, the number 9 Audi, who's got back past Sundstrom as well. So these guys, I know they've battled each other plenty of times in the past, and obviously Octane joining that battle as well. All seem to be rocking the pink colour. That seems to be the Night Owl thing now. But yeah, so far so good. This is looking behind Schmidberger now. So here we go. We've got Sundstrom on the left and Blanton on the right as you look at it. So Blanton's going to get nice and close here to the Nissan. But he's got to be careful because he doesn't want to lose that to Sundstrom as well, as they both take a little bit of gravel. Blanton's decided not to take that route, but you can see the Audi is ready to pounce, just waiting for Schmidberger to maybe run a little bit wide. But yeah, great racing from all of these guys so far.
Yeah, and I'm just going to reiterate one more time. None of these drivers are AM drivers. There was sort of a issue with the entry list. You know how fickle computers can be sometimes, but every single one of these drivers, despite their placards on their cars and on the timing screen saying they are AM, this is the top split here tonight, RCI TV. This is the pro split. These are the fast boys, the speedy boys, if you will. But just a graphical error there in the way that the list entered. It made them all AM drivers, and that's not correct. They will likely all find that incredibly humorous, as I don't think any of these guys have ever seen an AM placard in their life. So interesting night to have that happen. But you see the pass being made there as Katozi is falling back through the field now, must be said. Lebrec and Vane both getting through now. I suspected that pass may have come a few laps ago, but don't know if there's sort of a mistake. Oh, he's running wide yet again. I don't know if there's a problem on the car or maybe just out of his rhythm right now, but certainly a little bit wayward, going out of what you would normally expect the groove to be to make the corner, and of course forfeited those couple of spots. But hey, still inside the top 5. Patrick DeLoe back in 18th place. Aravina behind him will be interested in getting some of these spots back. He has Kea in front of him up the road just a little bit, but the battle in the pressure is coming from directly behind him. The 45 Audi of Aravina thinking about trying to set up the pass here. Can't quite do it yet, though certainly looks like the more aggressive of the two cars. Aravina going a bit wide in the corner, trying to cut it off so he has a run on the straightaway. Not a bad strategy. One of the only real ways to pass around here, other than using the do they call it a chrome horn where you're from, Josh?
I don't know what that is, so
Don't know what that is.
No.
So the chrome horn is an expression here in the States whenever you move somebody out of the way to get by them, when you bump to pass or push to pass, if you will. But we call it a chrome horn.
Well, they may call it that. I've never heard it, but you learn something new every day. And here we go, Cody Blanton and Mikael Sundstrom again at it. They're probably not helping each other's race, but Cody Blanton's going to keep hold of that one for the time being into the Andretti hairpin, or more commonly known as turn 2. So Schmidberger's managed to hold off Blanton for a while after he lost the position to Silva, but he's doing all right. He's doing good. He's in the GTR. It's nice to see cars we don't see a great deal of. Obviously, the BMW becoming more popular now with the latest BOP update. We know it's mighty down the straights, but Sundstrom's going to be one to look out for on other circuits. Probably not so much going to get the benefit of the straight line speed here at Laguna, but nonetheless, he's hanging in there in P9 nicely. nicely so far. And here we have Harry Conway. He's decided to go for the early pit stop strategy, get himself a bit of clean air. He's currently sort of second in our alternate strategy, should we call it, for now. Alternate strategy, I think, is probably the easy way to distinguish who's doing what. So he needs to just, go ahead now and just put some nice laps in. He can get himself into a rhythm. Hasn't got to worry about anybody else too much. He's got a nice gap behind him, a little bit of a gap in front of him. And let's see where Harry Conway comes out. So, and obviously we've got, is it Messaud in front as well. He's currently leading the alternate strategy battle, if you want to call it that for now.
I do wish to call it that because that's what it is. Last season in Night Owl, the common theme was you either come in really, really early, which they did at the end of the second or third lap, or you come in really, really late in the final couple laps. So that's sort of where we are. That's sort of what we've seen so far. And I don't suspect any of these guys, especially if you're embroiled in a battle where you feel like you can get a position on the track, you're not likely to come into pit right now unless you think that you're severely being held up or you're in sort of the back of the pack. It just seems to be the strategy. I don't think anybody can make the split the race in half strategy work because by that point you're already on your own sort of island anyway. So that seems to be, and that's probably what you will see. Now, just as I say that, somebody will come down pit road and inevitably prove me wrong. Katozi still not finding his own running space. He's constantly being hounded by these drivers now. Urquizy in the 404 Mercedes behind him now, looking to get that position from him and knock Katozi back to 5th place. Down to the insiders Urquizy. Does he dive it down into turn 1? No, he doesn't. Defended by Katozi, but look at the car try to grip and give up a little bit. The Ferrari, that is, thinking about making an inside move as Urquizy. Doesn't quite come off, falls back in line through turn 2. He will maybe get a run down the straightaway all over the back of Katozi right now. You can barely fit a sheet of paper between those two cars. The outside move, defending to the inside is Katozi. Outside is Urquizy. Can he stay there? No, he cannot. Falls back in line as they go to the run up the hill. Fantastic driving, respectful driving must be said, but also really good driving as a car off in the front there. Is that Vane?
Vane, I think, yeah,
Has Vane gone off? Indeed, it is.
Yeah, he has. He's lost it. He just caught it there. He caught the inside curb. He managed. He just clipped the wall. So I'm sure he'll have a little bit of headlight damage, but shouldn't be too much. But that's going to drop him back now because I believe he was third, chasing after Lebrec and obviously Gillies, who's out in the lead. And Lebrec hasn't really made an impression on that lead yet either. And who's that? Is that Silver behind? Is it Silver and Cody Blanton?
That's Blanton and Sundstrom, who nearly got into it together. By the way, while I have a second to talk about this, I love the pinks, the purples, the teals, and everything. Our broadcaster, man behind the cameras for this series, Nick Setnick, he's also in chat with you guys as well. He said that he had, quite humorously, he goes, I used to have a coat that were all those colors, and I also remember that I also had a coat. Oh my gosh, Cody Blanton all the way off the racetrack there, getting forced off by Sundstrom.
Yeah, he got completely squeezed there. Carl Sundstrom was like, you're gonna run yourself wide. You ain't having that.
Oh, he's gonna hit him.
Pal. This is getting feisty now.
Oh boys, you're only 12 minutes into the season. No time for that. Let's not fight yet.
No, let's not fight yet. Yeah, this is great stuff. It's given Silver a bit of breathing room. And what I was going to say as well about Katozi, he was backing up into, we did have pretty much P3 down to P9, but looks like there's a bit of, P10. Billy Octane, you are there. This is hotting up already, nice and early, but I am really, really impressed with Gillies. Like, Lebrec has not made an impression on that lead at all yet. Gillies really, really holding his own in the Porsche there, but obviously we know Gillies is a solid driver, really, really consistent, doesn't really do a lot wrong in many races I've watched. It probably will now I've said that, but in the background, look like Schmidberger's under pressure from Vane now, who we know is quick. But making mistakes is not going to get you to the front end of the grid too easily if you keep making mistakes. But Schmidberger again, P5 at the moment. He's going to run a little bit deep there in the GTR. So hard to get it stopped. But Vane on the inside now, which will be the outside. Schmidberger's done well.
Oh!
Maybe a bit of contact there, maybe forced him over a little bit too early. But I think we could see Vane here going to get a nice run down the straight towards turn 5, I believe it is. So here we go. Let's see if he's going to be close enough. Doesn't look like, but is he going to send one? I imagine he's pretty hot-headed in there now. Is Johan Vane, but no, so nice and tidy for a Schmidberger. And now all of a sudden Schmidberger's the one that's holding these guys up. This is ebbing and flowing really, really nicely, as we can see just in the distance. Katosi still, you know, holding his own in P3, but he runs a little bit wide there. Does Fabio Schmidberger, but where's he going to go now? It's so hard to overtake unless you're already alongside before you come up the hill. You're not really going to get much of a chance into the corkscrew, although it can be done, and if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be these guys. But yeah, everyone following nice and close at the moment, though, Jesse. It's not spreading out just yet. Do you think that might be the random grid? You know, with a bit of a mixture of drivers, you know, being paired up where you wouldn't usually see them.
Well, I think, just catching the end of that is Nick Setnik. Well spotted by him. Ferrari off into the barrier. We only caught the end of that, but we can assume, based on that, what happened there, Josh. I think that
I think we can.
Same thing that happened to Vane, I think, happened to him. I'm sure, I mean, we can share commiserations with Coombs and Vane, I think. I've done that 500,000 times going through there. You're trying to make as much time and scrub off as little speed as possible, and you hit that sausage curb on the inside, and then all of a sudden you are just a passenger. As this battle continues here between Sundstrom, Silva, and Octane, all of these cars nose to tail at this point.
Looks like Cody Blanton's pitted. Sorry to butt in there. Looks like Cody Blanton's decided to get himself out of this battle, and he's pitted early.
Not a bad strategy, honestly, if you think about it. If you're in the middle of this and you don't want to be in the middle of a fight right now, not terrible. I will be interested to see if that pays off, though. Again, the more that Sundstrom holds up Silva and Octane here, the better. And I thought for 1 second there that Octane was going to miss that corner, and that 999 Porsche was going to be the wrong way around there for a second, but well held by Octane to not allow that to happen. And the greatest thing about a near miss is that nothing happens and you get to restart your pursuit. All the Porsches around here, though, just look unsettled around this place.
Yeah, not as unsettled as that Ferrari there.
Oh, let me guess. There it is again.
Say, yeah, it's claimed its third victim. He's done well, and then oh my word, that could have been so much worse. It looked like he held it, and then all of a sudden the car was just like, nah. But yeah, one thing I want to point out about the what we're calling the alternate strategy here at the moment, it looks like Messaoud is leading that, but I'm pretty sure he was way behind Cody Blanton in the standings to start this race. So looking like he pitted very early, and he's been able to pump in some lap times. He's almost sort of around 6-7 seconds, and there you go. Harry Conway is also in front of Cody Blanton as well. So staying out for Cody Blanton really didn't pay off. Or pitting early for the others has really benefited them. So looks like the early pit stoppers are doing pretty well so far for them. And look, Messaoud has still got a bit of space, but speaking of space, Katosi hasn't got much behind him because it looks like Akizi now has had enough, and I want to get past you into the last corner. He's going to try the old switcheroo, I think, here. If he gives him the room, he doesn't try that. He tries to just out-traction him there, but he'll do well to out-traction the Ferrari. The mid-engine there going to come in to play on the traction zones, but what he will do is out-grunt him down the straight. It looks like he's already got that position done. Is Katosi going to fight it? Probably not, because he doesn't want to fight it. Oh, he is going to fight. He's going to go. Oh, I thought he was going to go down the inside there, but slammed the door shut, did the 404 Mercedes, and now you've got the 759 Mercedes going to go through as well. So, a bit of contact as well, and a little bit of snap oversteer as well, but... believe it or not, it's like Formula 1, 2 Mercedes going straight past a wounded Ferrari, as it is. But Nissan now versus Ferrari. Schmidberger, he's doing really well. He's really hanging in there. It looks like he's under pressure, then he's not, then he is. But he hasn't, he's yet to make a mistake, and now he's got a chance to go for P5 as well. Obviously, he started P4, but lap 1 is never easy, and you can run out of room, and it can cost you plenty of positions. But the gap at the front still 1.2. Gillies and Lebrec have decided to just let each other know what lap times they're doing and just matching it. So no impression on the lead just yet, but Schmidberger did get a little bit loose down the corkscrew there, but nothing too bad. I do quite like that livery. I believe Nick Setnik quite likes a purple, quite likes a bit of purple on a GT3 car. So I'm sure he's approving of that. That's probably why we've seen Fabian Schmidberger so much. It's probably likes the livery, and that's a busted up McLaren, isn't it?
That is not. Yeah, I was gonna say that is not the McLaren. No, that isn't
No,
the.
it's either.
No,
No, I
it's
think
not.
it's Rogers.
Yes, indeed. We actually have three. I was expecting one. We have three. Something majorly broken in Alex Rogers' 119 Adrenaline Racing McLaren, and you can see the front of that car is extremely busted up. They are extremely slow as well. They seem to be more up to pace now, but that's enough damage that you would consider fixing in pit road, because that is a major problem and you're not going to be on pace like that.
Yeah, but unfortunately for Alex Rogers, he pitted early.
Oh
So
dear.
Obviously that is one of the risks. Obviously,
Yeah, that thing is busted.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to come in anyway. I think, you're definitely losing out time. But here we go then. Harry Conway. He wants to get past the 778 Ferrari, and it looks like by tipping his left wheels into the gravel there, that's just going to let him past. So that was easier than Conway thought it was going to be. He's got a nice bit of six.
Conway wishes every pass was like that.
Yeah, they're quite nice when they move out of the way. Yeah, I agree. But Conway now, he got a couple of seconds in front of him to just sort of get up the road and put some quali laps in. Is Jose Jorge or something like that. that's a mouthful. He's not gonna give this up though. He wants a little bit more, even though Conway's already pitted. So he is a pit stop behind. But I can't wait to see where Massoud and Harry Conway and those guys really do sort of filter back out into the field. I think Massoud is going to come out around. I think he could be, looking at the delta times here, I think he could be in front of Sundstrom and co. Honestly, I think he could be amongst that battle, sort of P4, P5. But these guys could pit like 2 minutes before the end if they wanted to.
Indeed, they could. They could pit at any. I don't think you're allowed to pit on the white flag lap or coming to the checkers.
No,
but
I don't think you can. Michael Schumacher tried that once.
He did do that once. I don't really, when I talk about how great Michael Schumacher is, I tend to leave that one out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Alistair Gillies leads this race by the same 1.3 second gap he has done for the past 7 to 10 circuits, I would say. That gap has been as low as a second. It's been as high as 1.4, but it is just the ebb and flow. The different cars, very different vehicles indeed, the Porsche and the Audi, regardless of what country of origin they are from. Very different cars, and that gap does come in and out. But that's pretty much what I expect out of Gillies and Lebrec. They are incredibly fast veterans. They're veterans here at RCI as well, and the veterans are racing each other, so they know each other quite well. So no surprise to see them out front. No surprise to see Urquizy in third place as well. I've not been monitoring that gap. I would be interested to know if Urquizy is gaining on Lebrec at all. But one thing's for sure, that gap has been fairly stable up front. Kaya here with Ervina behind him, battle for 12th place. The Audi would very much like to get in front here, but it's going to be a fight. One thing about this place is it lends itself to defensive driving, but even so, we've seen a lot of good and safe defensive driving so far. And in addition to that, we've also seen a lot of mistakes right here on this corner. Nothing doing this time, though. But that corner is one of the all-time most hated corners of any racetrack.
Turn 6, the one where we've seen a couple of cars go off. Is that the one you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. I understand why it's hated, but there is something quite satisfying about getting it right as well. It's just one of those corners that's quite rewarding, but that's not very rewarding for Seb Brunier.
Let me guess.
Oh, I think it may be before that. He's going to get a little bit of gravel there and spin. He didn't actually make it up the hill.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the 4th time Sebastian Brunier has had a spin this weekend, and the 4th time he made no contact.
Well, he must just be very talented at when he crashes not hit anything.
He had 3 of those in the Endurance Cup race yesterday where he made 0 contact. To be fair, some of them were aided by other people, but his ability to spin and not hit anything is incredible.
Yeah, he did. I don't quite know how he kept it out of the wall. I was expecting him to see him get sort of Karen back across the track, but not to be. But here we go again. Matteo Catozzi in the 265 Ferrari. He's our lead Ferrari at the moment in P5, and obviously we got Schmidberger and Sundstrom just behind as well. They look to be nice and close, but not as close as those Mercedes there. I think that's Johan Veen and Urquizy. So there we go. Veen finally getting himself back up into P3 at the moment, but is Urquizy going to let him have that? I probably don't think he's going to let him have it easily, but is it going to be a lot he can do? He's going to go straight around the outside. That's quite strange from Veen, but it looks like he's going to make it pay off. Is he? He's going to try and squeeze him out into the gravel, but not quite. They get so close to the middle of the circuit there, but there we go. Urquizy's going to take that back. He's going to say, you have to try a bit harder than that,
That
pal.
was good racing. How close did they get without touching? That's excellent.
That was awesome. Very, very respectful stuff. But Veen, as we know, probably should be near the, he is near the front. I don't quite mean that. But the gap shouldn't be 10 seconds or so to Lebrec. I think.
There goes Catozzi.
Catozzi's gone. Catozzi's gone. That's
Did
his
he
first
save
mistake.
that?
I don't know. But he's lost a lot of places. He's going to go down to P8 there, I believe. Yeah, P8, Matteo Catozzi. I don't know what happened there.
Can we see that again?
I think he's had the same fate as Seb Bounier. Has he been as lucky, though? Let's see. Does he get to the wall?
Yes.
No, he doesn't. A bit of Tokyo drift there. That's always welcome here at RCI.
That was absolutely brilliant. How many people have gone off? It's just so easy to slam it into the inside or the outside wall when that happens. Excellently replay, excellently displayed driving skill as well. I don't know what exactly to say. I thought for a second that he hit that wall, but then I noticed the front of his car wasn't damaged. It's just absolutely fantastic. We go back to Fabian Schmidberger, who is in 5th place currently. He's trying to keep Sundstrom behind, but I don't know for how much longer it's going to be like this. Sundstrom is on a mission coming to the front of this field right now. He's one of those that always, he's really good attacking driver is Mikael Sundstrom.
Yeah, he is, and that BMW definitely puts you in positions to attack as well with its straight line speed. But yeah, fair play. He's we got 2 big cars here, but featured in our Behemoth Cup the other day as well. These were 2 of the cars that would qualify for that event. So we got 2 behemoths going at it, if you will, Nissan versus BMW. I don't know. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but obviously the updated BMW logo, I know a lot of people get a bit of hate for it, but it makes it stand out, I guess, because obviously it didn't have the white background before, did it? But I quite like that on the timing tower, the changed BMW logo. Seeing it definitely more often now since the update, and he's going to get real close to the back of that GTR, but the GTR is just going to pull away from him for now. But let's see if the BMW can reel him in a bit. Obviously the problem with Laguna Seca is the straight isn't always long enough unless you get a perfect exit out of the
another problem is there's not a straight that's straight on this track either.
Yeah, there's also that. Yeah, like I said, it's straight for not a great amount of time, and then there's a bit of a kink. And if you don't get that bit right, you can run out wide and then completely mess up, what is turn 2, but, we tend to call it turn 1, which is the proper, it's the first proper braking zone on the track. But 2 Mercedes back, P3, P4, Urquizy and Veen, as they were. We have seen a lot of cars kicking up a bit of gravel, bit of dust at this track. It does allow you to do that, this track, but the one thing it doesn't allow you to do is to hit the anti-cut curbs or sausage curbs, as they probably more commonly know. But the 2 Mercs running well, and fair play, Schmidberger, Sundstrom, they're still running pretty well, but are they actually losing time to car number 1, for example, which is currently P11, by the way?
all these two guys absolutely going at it here. Vane trying everything. He's backing up his entry, and now he's backing out of that going into pit road. He's going to basically cut this race in half. The 759 Mercedes, almost said Aston Martin there for some reason, is in pit road. I don't think there's a single Aston Martin in this entire
No, I don't
field,
think there is.
actually.
I don't think there is, and that's really strange because that's a really, really popular car in ACC, isn't
Yes.
it? So it's quite strange to not have. And I don't think we've got a Bentley either. So
Oh, yeah.
so
It's
only
very
the
true.
3 McLarens representing Great Britain at the moment. Usually have a lot more, but oh well, it's not always a bad thing. It's not always a bad thing.
By the way, I don't think that pit was a bad thing either. I think Vane kind of reading the writing on the wall that it was taking a little bit longer than he would like to make that pass.
But-
so he goes
But
ahead.
here we go, Jesse. So Vane is now behind Blanton. He's behind Conway, and he's also behind Messaoud as well.
Yeah, that's
so. And he was P3, P4, and then he dropped back, and now he's going to come out
Yep.
in P18 behind Mathis as well.
So pitting early, I think what we're seeing here, Josh, is that was the right answer. That was the only answer.
It's looking likely. I think Messaoud could be within. He could honestly have a shot at a podium here. He, I think, was one of the first. I believe it was a Lexus that came in first. I think it was Mallet, potentially, P4, number 14, sorry. I think he was the first guy to pit, and that was like lap 2. So, don't know whether he's made mistakes or, you know, it's just his pace hasn't paid off for him. But Sundstrom on the flashes now. He's had enough. The back of that GTR. Is he going to send it up the inside? Of course he is.
He is.
He is going to send it, and I think he's going to get this done. Is he going to get it done? He's got to get it stopped, mind. It weighs
touch.
absolute ton. But a little slight touch, but Robin's racing, and that's a nice move. I think Schmidberger kind of knew that was coming. He left him racing room there, so nicely done. But Sundstrom now needs to push up onto the 404. The 404 Mercedes, yeah, of Equeezy. But the gap at the front is the biggest it's been all race, 2.1 seconds. And it's not exactly miles apart, is it? And there we go, we hit the halfway mark. So we still got the top 8 to pit. As well, so I can't wait to see where Messaoud is going to come out. I really can't.
Yeah, I can't either. I think we both nailed it. We were talking about it, that there's two strategies: pit early or late. I think pitting in the middle is a bad idea. You pit early, you potentially get out of traffic for a while, and you can run basically qualifying laps around here, qualifying laps on race fuel load at least, but you get to run by yourself, and that can help you in the long run, because if you're not having to, you know, change the way that you drive into a corner, out of a corner, or follow somebody, and you've got nice clean air, that could be the difference. And I think that's what we're seeing here. A lot of these people that pitted on the first couple of laps, you're seeing them gain positions when everybody pits, simply because they haven't been stuck in traffic. They haven't been having to battle anybody. They're alone. They can focus on their lap times, and that is working out exceptionally. Now, for the cars at the very front, I don't think it will work quite as well. I think they can pit at the end and they'll be completely fine, because they also haven't been in a ton of traffic. Gillies, though, out in front of Lebrec, and again, that gap has more than doubled at this point. A little concerned about Urquizy, though, because he was sort of keeping pace earlier. I don't know what's happened to him, but either his pace has fallen off or the pace behind him with Sundstrom and the lot have picked up. One of the two have occurred. Jorge, he was really he has pitted is what's happened here. The 778. I had some notes and I was very confused, but that is exactly what's happened here. He has pitted, running 24th right now, just sort of hanging out. And here is Urquizy. Urquizy has had enough. Now, keep in mind, none of these drivers are likely to get tires. They are here to satisfy the minimum pit requirement. The minimum pit requirement is 1 liter of fuel. And for anybody out there who may be wondering or saying, well, what is the point of having a mandatory pit stop if that's all they have to do? Well, Josh and I are talking about that right now. See how different the running order is now? Even though they all have to pit, it is purely strategy.
Yeah, it's all a bit topsy-turvy at the moment, but the only guy in the 22s at the moment is the number 1 of Messaoud. I honestly think we've been sleeping on him all race. Akerzi is literally come out 7/10 behind him. So that was our P3 car before he pitted. So that just puts him into perspective where, the alternate strategy comes in. Oh, I don't think he's actually 7/10 behind him, is he? That was a glitch in the timing tower, but where is he? Should cross the timing line now. He's 5.8 seconds behind him. So he's actually gained P3, net P3, and a 6-second gap almost over that car as well. So that should pretty much around about put him maybe 6-7 seconds behind Lebrec. Maybe. Obviously, we don't know. Things could still happen. We've still got 26 minutes. We've only just reached halfway. But yeah, he is the fastest guy on track at the moment. But obviously, Vane is down into P14, so he fell back quite a bit, didn't he?
Sure did.
He was one of our quick guys in practice. I think he was the quickest guy in practice, actually. But it's all still to play for. But it's all filtered out. The guys that have pitted are quite far apart. We got 6 seconds there. Between Masoud and Akizi, 5.3 between Conway and Blanton's, another 3.2 down the line. So those guys still got clear air, so they're able to pump in the lap times, like you said, Jesse. Just qualifying laps effectively, just with a bit more fuel. So, but here we go back to
look at this
top of the field. Yeah, P3, Mikael Sundstrom and Schmidberger, who looked like he was down and out against Sundstrom. Sorry, he's not giving it up at all. So maybe tyres coming into play. Tyres around 45 minutes or so will start feeling a little bit rough, but they will definitely make the hour, no problems. But yeah, Sundstrom running well. I honestly thought he'd get through a bit quicker than he did, but fair play, the guys in front of him really, really held their own. They really did. They did not make it easy. But it'll be interesting to see in the next couple of rounds, Jesse, if the guys obviously see the alternate strategy paying off this time. Will we see this more often?
Yeah, I think you will. It's the same thing that happened in season 1, where nobody at the beginning of the season really wanted to come in and pit early, and Cody Blanton used that strategy to great effect early in the season. I think Gillies and Lebrec also used the early pit strategy to get podium and I think a win in one case. So, and then by the end of the season, about 50-50, half the field did come in early to pit. And I think next week what we'll see was a lot more of that, especially with the flipped grid. For those of you that may be just tuning in at the halfway point, first of all, welcome to RCI's presentation on Night Owl Season 2. We're at a very cloudy and very hot Laguna Seca here, 30-car field. This is pro. I know what the driver placards say, but they are incorrect. This is the top split here tonight. I am Jesse Lee here with Josh LaShawn, and Nick Setnick is working the cameras, getting you all the angles tonight. And we could not be happier to be here with you. This man right here for 56 Porsche is your leader. He has about a 2.2 second lead on Ishmael Lebrec. And if you're wondering why your favorite driver is back in the field, yeah, it could have been pit strategy, but it's also possible because this grid, this season, there will not be qualifying as there's going to be a car off into the grass, into the middle of the field. Luckily for him and smartly for Jorge, yep, it's going to be leaving that dreaded pit road. Now, let's see. Did he get a tire in the dirt when he started to make the hairpin? Nope, did not turn.
Missed it.
Yeah.
Just missed it. And that's his second pit stop as well, so you may have quite a bit of damage potentially.
So I'm just going to say, I understand that was a mistake, but I am going to, he's off again, in fact, but I am going to applaud him for twisting that car back into pit road instead of just trying to drive. That was the smart and the safe decision there after a mistake, and I am impressed. And I'll tell you something else I'm impressed about. Fabian Schmidberger, decisive pass Sundstrom on Schmidberger into turn 1 to get that pass done, and we thought done and dusted. The 899 is going to go up the road, but that hasn't been the case. Fabian Schmidberger, the German, driving incredibly hard in the Japanese manufacturer here tonight. The only Nissan in the field that I'm aware of, and it's up inside the top 5, started inside the top 5. They've maintained that position. They've missed some incidents around them, and they're not letting Mikael Sundstrom get away. This is incredible.
No, he's not letting him go. The two behemoths are still at it. Like you said, I thought it was done and dusted as you went past him earlier on, about 3-4 laps ago now, but maybe even more laps than that. I don't really know. But yeah, he's sticking with him. It doesn't look like he's going to send one. Maybe just waiting for a mistake from Mikael Sundström in the 899. But yeah, he's lapping really, really well now. It's as if he's found pace, and like Sundström's gone past him, and he's just going in his wheel tracks and just sort of getting pulled along, if you will. But it looks like
Look at this.
Yeah, he's pretty close to him here. I don't think he's going to send one.
Yeah, that's
but
unlike
let's...
Fabian to send one, so I'm not expecting a send. I am expecting him, because he is very German, to get as close as possible to the back of
for sure,
Sundström.
Yeah, 100%. But you don't
German
want to be too
precision.
close following through the corkscrew, mind. You do want to give yourself a little bit of room.
Indeed. But Josh, how do you say your last name? Because I think somebody's making fun of me in chat. How do you say your last name?
Someone's making fun of Jesse in chat. That's not on, is it?
No. How do you say your last name?
So there's a couple of ways. That the more common way for my name is Leishon. How I actually say it is Leishon. So it's like Leishon. That's fine. But Leishon is the more so like Leighton, but Leishon instead. But I say Leishon is how I pronounce my name. But
that's
if
very
you say
interesting.
If you say Leishon, I sound French. So I think that's why you might be getting.
Well, the reason I call you LeSean is because that is how I'm pretty sure.
I think it sounds great.
I'm pretty sure that's how you would say it in American English, because I'm pretty sure I've heard that name before. But so your family would say Leishon.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So
that sounded really awkward for you to say.
No. I'm here with Josh Leishon.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. And I have educated myself this evening, and that's the one bit of education that I will get, other than the fact that somehow Fabian Schmedberger is keeping up with Mikael Sundström. I'm not quite sure how that has worked out so far, but it's working out great if you are the driver of the 68 RRR Nissan, because that's kind of what you wanted out of this. You want to be able to stick with some of the guys, and Mikael Sundström, one of the fastest guys out there. So if you're sticking with him, what does that say about you?
Yeah, exactly. To be latched onto the back of one of the real regulars here at RCI. He's got the two Audis, gonna try and fight it out around turn one. Lots of gold on that car. Team Rocket as well. Big up Pokemon. Yeah, so he's P15. Looks like he's one of the only guys in the midfield that hasn't pitted yet. But the number 10 running in P15 is currently lapping around sort of 126. So he is actually one of the slower guys on the track at the moment. Just looking around the cars around his position. But the fastest guy on the track is actually, last lap was Gillies, the 123.0. Closely followed, by Massaud, who did a 122.9. So the leader is pretty much matching the number 1 Porsche, who I think is going to be in with a shout of maybe getting on that. He's definitely going to be on the podium, I think. I think he's got the pace, regardless of his strategy. He has been super fast today, so far. But here we go. We're going to go back to Equeezy. I think that's lapped cars around him. I believe it is, yeah. So he's... Again, he pitted a bit earlier than the guys in front of him. Has it paid off? He probably left it a little bit too late, Jesse, I think. But Lebrecht now 4 seconds back off Gillies. Gillies is checking out, Cody Blanton style.
Yeah, I think maybe that Porsche is a little better on its tires in a long run compared to the Audi, is what we're seeing here. I don't think Lebrecht is tired by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that perhaps the tire degradation on a Porsche is a little bit better, and that may be what you're seeing come into play here, because as far as I can tell, yeah, Lebrecht is consistent. It's just that he's ever so slightly slower than Gillies, and the only thing I can attribute that to is, well, probably tire degradation at this point. But all things considered, looking at a good points day. But look at this. This is Urquizy with sort of he's kind of on his own here. He's not fighting any of the cars behind him.
No, I believe that's Kea, Ertan, and Brunier, I think, behind, and Harry Conway just behind them as well.
Yeah, they're definitely fighting each other in the back of this picture here, and they are really close together as the 18 is thinking about making a pass, and Urquizy just sort of hanging out. He's the second on the road of the cars that have pitted. He's quite a far back from Massoud, to be fair, but he is second of the cars that did pit. I'm kind of curious where Conway went. I know obviously Conway is sort of in that pack of vehicles. Speaking of this pack of vehicles, here's Ertan. Ertan's in the middle of the sandwich, K in front of him, and he would like to very much, actually he's just going to get out of the way. I think that's a lead lap vehicle that he is letting through there. Very smart move. Oh yeah, he's absolutely is. Very smart move. That's what we like to see here at Night Owl. That nice respectful driving as the caution flag comes out in the first sector. Car stopped in between 3 and 4. It has gotten going the right way now. Don't see a lot of incidents in between 3 and 4, but there was one just then.
Yeah.
Oh, that probably is it. That's probably what happened. That's not a replay. Yeah, I was going to say, that is not a replay, but that is probably what caused the local yellow anyway.
Yeah, I'd say so. Something like that. Maybe kicking up a little bit of dust, but yeah, he got away with that one, didn't he? The 760 Mercedes, who's now under pressure for position as well by Ertan, who we were just watching. I got to say, for such a plain livery on that McLaren, I'm feeling that for some reason.
Wow. Josh just called you plain in the Night Owl Championship. That is, send your messages to Josh here at RCI. He'll I'll deliver them for you. This battle here is heating back up again as well with 15 minutes or so left. Of course, Yilmaz right behind Aravina, attempting to get that position back. Yilmaz has had a very quiet day. He's actually going to get out of the way of Schmidberger and Sundstrom. So what's going to happen here is he's going to get into the back, and he's going to hope that these two hold up Aravina the same amount of time that he was held up, letting them by in the first place.
Yeah, or if anything, he wanted to hold him up a little bit more.
Oh yeah.
But these guys, in the Sundstrom and Schmidberger, doing really well, aren't they? They're really pulling each other along. I'm looking at their pace at the moment. They're pretty much matching, the guys around them. A little bit slower than the leader and the number one. Those three guys seem to be the standout ones.
Look at what's happening here. Aravina is not pulling over the same way that Yilmaz did. Oh, now he is. So they got to the straightaway. Aravina said, okay, I will give you the outside here. And that's exactly what's happened. And what effectively happened there is because Aravina planned when he was going to let them by, he wasn't held up quite as much. So all that did was help give him a little more gap that he didn't have previously. That's incredibly intelligent. That's high IQ racing right there.
It is, and there is actually an art to being lapped. You want to try and cost yourself as little time as possible, but also getting out of the way as safe as you can. You don't really want the quicker guys cursing you, and if you see those flashes maybe 2 or 3 times, you're probably annoying them. So get out of the way. But Aravina did well. He just pulled over to the inside into the pit wall. Well, not into the pit wall, but towards the pit wall. And just moved out of the way for these guys. So Sundstrom towing along the 68 Nissan, and that was, I believe, Aravina running wide.
That was indeed.
Bounces across the curbs, and I think that's going to let...
I think Yilmaz got by him, indeed.
Yeah, he certainly did. So Yilmaz now P15, and he's pitted as well. So
we're going to see this again.
Replay. I think he's going to get a bit hot here. Yeah, he hit the brakes way too late. Those brake lights need to come on a little bit sooner if you're going to make that corner. But this is the bit that cost you. He bounced back onto the track is horrible. But he kept it in a straight line for the most part. So all good in the hood. Here we go. So who we got here? We got Cody Blanton in P10. I don't think that car behind him is racing him, is it?
No.
Oh, unless it's Vane, potentially. No, Vane is behind Mathis, so I don't think that car is actually racing Cody Blanton, so maybe he's just got past him. But Cody Blanton P10, and you can see his nearest rival, Harry Conway, just up the road as well. So, yeah, just looking at the time in tower, Jesse. So the number 1 is 3 seconds behind P6, which is Katosi, who hasn't pitted yet. So that's real close, considering, you know, you've already pitted. So I really, really think this is paying off. But it'll be interesting to see when Gillies and Lebret come into the pits now. As, yeah, Jack is going to go rally style. We've seen that a few times.
Wow, he really stayed off road. I think
he did. Yeah.
I think he was sort of being courteous, because you can pull back onto the track, but he maintained momentum off track.
He must have the Quattro version.
That he thinks he's a rally car there. The speed he carried uphill in the dirt, it was absolutely amazing. But of course, he did kind of let that car get through as well. So very interesting there. Fabian Schmedberger still less than a second behind Sundstrom, goes incredibly wide in the corner, almost diamonds it off there. I don't think he actually lost any time by doing that either, because he gained all that time on the exit of the corner. But these two, for the better part of the second half of the race, these guys have been chained at the hip. So it'll be interesting to know at the end here, does Schmedberger go for a pass on Sundstrom, or does Schmedberger not challenge Sundstrom, knowing that he'll be in front of him for the next race?
So, if it were me, I'd be racing for the here and now, and I would do whatever sort of Sundstrom doesn't do. So we're coming towards the end of the race now, so you have to pit. So, for example, if you see Sundstrom come in, you stay out, in my opinion. There's no point matching him. You might as well try and roll the dice and see what happens. So, Schmidbergen, he's got a big decision to make. And oh, there we go. He's going to go for the undercut.
He must be listening to you.
He must be listening. This guy is listening to the stream.
I know sometimes he actually does that, Josh.
Yeah, so here we go. So he's going to try and make the undercut work rather than the overcut. So let's see if it pays off. It all depends where he comes out. And also I can see Katosi and Billy Octane coming in as well. So here we go now. Pit crews. Probably only for their 1 liter, but they're going to be, you know, high pressure stuff. Make sure the guys pull into the box, because I know you can lose a hell of a lot of time in your pit delta, as you alluded to earlier, if you don't park it in the right place. So let's see.
Been guilty of that myself.
Yeah, I think we all are. If you haven't, you're either an alien or you're just telling fibs.
Well, I gotta say, 10 minutes left to go in round 1 here at Night Out Season 2 here on RCI TV. We're happy that you're with us. We're glad that you're with us, and we hope that you're enjoying the racing. Of course, Josh with us here. I'm Jesse, and Nick on the cameras tonight. Just wanted to give a shout out to all of you staying up late, watching some excellent GT racing on your Saturday night or Sunday morning, depending on where you're watching from. Want to invite you to leave a like and subscribe to the RCI TV channel and never miss a single race. You can find us here at least half of the week running GT racing. Would also like to thank all of our partners, Race Department, AK Informatica, Raceface, and Next Level Racing. Go ahead and support all of those fantastic people and groups. You can find the links in the description here on YouTube, and we have an action-packed 8.5 minutes left to go in this race. A couple of people still need to pit. Most everybody else has done except the top 3. I think personally, of course, depending on where Mr. Schmedberger came out, and he's going to actually be in front of a group and not really racing anybody, that's going to be perfect. So maybe, just maybe, Schmedberger was pacing Sundstrom. We'll know when Sundstrom pits, probably on the penultimate lap of the race, if maybe the 68 had a little extra pace in it. But meanwhile, up front. Gillies has a 5-second lead on Lebrecht here in the late going.
Yeah, so just quick, if my calculations are right, and I wouldn't trust them.
Are you doing math?
I'm doing maths. It's late, but I'm doing maths. So, Messaoud is 13.2 seconds behind Sundstrom, who is around about 13 seconds behind Lebrecht, and Lebrecht is 5 seconds behind Gillies. So, the net pit stop here, so that I can see average, is around 38 seconds. Messaoud, if all goes well, is going to come out potentially in the lead of this race. Potentially.
You're kidding.
This could be. I've been watching the times. He has the fastest lap of the race. He's done a 22.0. The leaders, a 22.7. They both have a 22.7 fastest lap. This guy has been pumping in the times since he pitted nice and early. The only guy that's actually anywhere near him on the fastest lap is actually Mikael Sundstrom and Johan Vane as well. They've done 22.5s. And Messaoud is still doing 22s, and he hasn't been out the 22s for pretty much the entire race, whereas the front two have been doing low 23s. So he has been 5 or 6 tenths a lap, but you just don't see it happen. And like I said, it's the art of surprise when you pit early. He's definitely getting on the podium. He's definitely getting on the podium unless
Josh,
he crashes. But go on.
If Messaoud wins this race, it will be the upset of the year for RCI if he can win this race. Literally, big brain moves, pits early, stays out of trouble all race, runs the quickest lap, and then if he could possibly win as Mikael Sundstrom comes in to satisfy their pit requirement, Gillies and Lebrecht do not pit yet.
Messaoud is literally coming past Sundstrom now. He's literally just gone past him. So,
yep, there is.
I honestly think he could have this done. Let's see what the gap is to Lebrecht in a second when Messaoud comes across the timing line. But here's the fight that we wanted to see. So, Sundstrom's on his way out of the pits. Has Fabian Schmidberger got it done? We're going to wait and see.
Yes, he has.
He's just coming out now, and Schmidberger is going to have a lot more speed coming down. I don't think he's going to be close enough.
Oh wait, no, you're right. That's right. Yes, I was looking at the wrong dot. Yeah, it's basically going to sort of reset. If anything, he lost time.
Yeah, it must be the traffic. You can see there's like 3 or 4 cars you can see behind him.
Oh dear.
So, Sundstrom, though, off the podium, we did expect that. Once we've seen Messaoud's pace, but Cody Blanton's got his way back up to P7 as well. So here we go. Here's our race leader and has led pretty much. Well, no, since turn 1, he's led the whole race. So here we go. Now he's going to hand over the lead to Ishmael Lebrecht. Can Lebrecht get a great in-lap now? He needs everything. He needs to give it everything. So the gap, Messaoud to Gillies, 33.2 seconds. The net pit stop time at the moment is 38. So this is going to be close. Between Messaoud and Gillies. So Gillies is... Where is Gillies? He's still in the pits, I believe, or on his way out of the pits at least. So he's out of the pits. Where is Messaoud?
Look, he is digging, and he's going to be in the grass. He is in the dirt. The leader of the race, Alistair Gillies, has cooked it out of pit road, and he's put it in the dirt. He has to stop, and he had to go back to the pit lane out. Otherwise, that would not be judged very lightly, but he does get it back going the right way. Yeah. And Alistair Gillies will oh my goodness, that's about what the lead would have been. He only had a 5-second gap. It took him about that long to get the car wound up. He completely locked it up. So either Lebrecht or Messaoud or Gillies, I don't know exactly how this is all going to come out.
I think Lebrecht's going to come out in third because there was around 4 or 5 seconds when Gillies pitted. So as long as Lebrecht can keep it clean, Gillies has actually had the fastest pit stop at the moment, 37.4 seconds he spent.
Yeah, but he also had the slowest exit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So has Lebrecht
actually
stopped yet? Here we go. Now he's stopping. So the guys are coming around.
Oh,
turn
excellent
10
camera work by
now.
Nick
Yeah,
Setnik,
this is fantastic stuff. So here we go. Gillies coming around the final turn, and there you can see Messaoud just behind. They're only 2 seconds behind, but there's not going to be enough time for him to get in front, I don't think. But here we go. Lebrecht is now going to hit the pit exit line. And there we go. There we can see Gillies going around the outside.
So Gillies has to go further.
Yes, he does.
But I don't think it's going to be enough.
Oh, this is going to be so close between second and third place. This is going to be so close. He's not going to get the lead, but is he going to get second and third? It's going to be side by side coming out of the pit exit, and he's got the extra speed as the #1 Porsche. He's moved up into second. I've been
Incredible.
watching this for the whole race pretty much.
Oh, he's going for it.
Who the hell are you, and why are you there? We haven't seen you all race, but wow.
Look at this.
Awesome stuff.
That's first, second, and third, all in the same picture there. They are racing for the win here. Podium is going to be Gillies, Massoud, and Lebrecht. Gillies not punished for that mistake, exiting pit road, cooked it into the hairpin, locked it up, went into the dirt, had to correct it, did do successfully, and well held by Gillies. It's so easy to loop the car when you touch the grass whenever you're on full lock.
Importantly here, it looks like we're going to cross the line with only 1 lap left after this. That is massive for Gillies, because Massoud is so much faster than him. If he crossed the line a little bit before, 123, 124, the game would obviously not class that as the last lap. But I don't think it's going to matter. I think it's going to be real. This is going to come down to the wire on the final lap. I can't believe it. Gillies has got no pace.
White flag is out. Alistair Gillies, the man who's led nearly every lap of this race, being hunted by a new challenger. It was over a second. It's about half a second now. Massoud, second place. Porsche on Porsche, 56 versus 1. 1 lap to get it done. Rounding turn 2. They will see the checkered flag come out here at the end of this lap. Massoud is going to have to put it in a corner and make it stick.
He's got to go for it. Got to go for it. This is just great stuff. I thought these guys were teammates looking at the colours, but the liveries are different. But Massoud is still got so much pace. He was a second faster than Gillies last time around. It's just to have that kind of pace, this late on. Those tyres have done a full race, but I don't think there's any overtaking spots. As long as Gillies can keep it on the racing line now, I think he should have this done. Is he going to try and go for it down the hill? It's going to be so close. It's going to be so close. He's got the final turn to go. He's got the final turn as his only chance to get
He's going to park it in the final corner. You know he is. Massoud right on the tail of Alistair Gillies. Last lap. Checkered flag is out. The time has expired. And he's going to try to go around the outside as Massoud. He's going to try the crossover move. Massoud spins it. He gets it back going the right way. He's going to lose. Second place. Lebrecht goes through. Alistair Gillies wins Laguna Seca here at the Night Owl round 1 of season 2. Excellently raced. Lebrecht comes across the line second in the 67 Audi, and Massoud, digging as hard as he possibly can, finishes third and immediately parks the car. I cannot believe that. Sundstrom will beat Fabian Schmedberger to the line by less than a second. That gap, that was more than 4 seconds at one point, went all the way back down under a second as Alistair Gillies celebrates in the gravel trap.
Jesse, I can't believe what we've just witnessed. I really can't. Massoud, he had it as well. He had the drive out of the last corner, but he just didn't get enough of the steering straightened up. I can't actually believe what that was. That was one of the best endings to a GT race I've ever seen. That was incredible. Fair play. Gillies, Lebrecht, they stayed out. They went long instead. They did the complete opposite, and it paid off for him in the end. Lebrecht definitely getting a little bit of luck there. Coming around the last corner, because he was nowhere near the front 2 Porsches there. But he's got the second place. Gillies P1 and Massoud P3. But yeah, I got to say, Sundstrom, Schmidberger, they were great as well, inseparable. And Cody Blanton managing to fight his way back to P6 as well. So Vane, who had an early mistake, only manages P11. And you could have had him down for the win, sort of 15 minutes into this race.
So here is your top 10. Alistair Gillies wins an absolute thriller to open Night Owl Champ Season 2. Ishmael Lebrecht squeaks by back into second place. Massoud nearly wrecks it off the final corner and finishes third. Sundstrom and Schmedberger finish out the top 5. Blanton, Urquizy, Octane finished 8th. Conway and Katosi are your top 10 after the first race. And what does Alistair Gillies win? Well, he wins a bunch of points, but he also gets to start in 30th place next weekend.
Yeah, and that's what this championship's all about. The reverse grid. It's just more of that, please. That was fantastic because
Welcome.
the grid
First of all,
didn't actually settle itself out. We still got
no.
drivers all over the place.
So, first of all, if this was your first RCI race, welcome. And if this is your first Night Owl race, welcome again, because this happens all the time. I cannot wait for next weekend. Well raced by everybody. It sort of settled into a groove. We saw less incidences in the second half of the race, but there's always next week.
And next week is Monza. So
And nothing bad ever happens in turn one at Monza.
no, exactly. It's always a clean race. It's always very, very easy to get your braking points into turn one there. So, yeah, I'd be disappointed in our drivers if there's contact into turn one. No, I'm joking. It's going to be chaos again.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being with us tonight. For Josh, I'm Jesse Lee and Nick Setnick behind the cameras. You've been watching Nine Owl Season 2 on RCI TV. Leave a like and subscribe for more side by side racing action. We'll be back with you here at Night Owl next weekend at the same time. We'll be at Monza for round 2. Congratulations to Alistair Gillies, and thank you to all of our partners here at Racing Club International, Race Department, AK Informatica, Race Face, and Next Level Racing. For RCI, thank you, and we'll see you next time. Have a good night.